G'day guys and welcome back to the channel. Today I'll be reviewing the game between GWS and Geelong, and it was the Giants on this occasion, too strong yet again, winning by 26 points, and I think that would be 5 in a row for the Giants if I can calculate correctly. They definitely won. Well, we haven't beaten them since 2022. I know that for a fact. 2023 we lost. 2024, 2025 played twice. So yeah, they've won at least the last 3 or the last 4 before that. So yeah, it's either 4 or 5 in a row. Just can't crack them. They're just somehow our Achilles heel where they're bunnies at the moment. I mean, they're a good side as well. We have to take that into calculation when we sort of review this game, and I don't think we'll be throwing out the baby. We won't be throwing the baby out with the bathwater in this one either. Like any game, you win by 72 points at home last week against the worst team in the comp. So you don't go thinking that the competition's scared about that, and rightfully they shouldn't be. Equally, you can't get too down in the dumps when you go down to a side that's pretty, they're flexing their muscle in the second half of the year. They've got a lot more to play for right at the very moment. Their season, effectively on the line. And, right now they're sitting equal 4th, I think, with just based on percentage that, 4th and 8th is just merely percentage in it, just to kind of show, how close the competition really is at the moment. But I guess holistically looking at the game, it was a lightning start. It was, it was exciting. Sort of first 10 minutes or so when we were, really on top. We had so much energy. We were on. Players were, there was lots of run and carry. The pressure was intense. We were, making GWS fumble, and they looked rattled early. But I know from watching the Giants in games gone past that they can be 8 goals down at home, and that they'll fight back. They may not necessarily win, but we saw when the Suns put them to the sword in the first term. They're perennially low, or sort of slow starters, the Giants, and they'd find their groove, and then once they're on, they are deadly against just about any opposition. And we saw them only a few weeks back. I mean, it's pretty tough to beat Brisbane in Brisbane, especially once they've finally jumped off the canvas from probably their earlier season woes where they were a little bit inconsistent and playing one and a half quarters, winning the games. But played a Brisbane side and won there by 3 goals, largely off the back of accurate kicking, but clearly they've done that a few times and designed their system in a way that gives them good looks at goal. So, I mean, you can kick 20 straight if you've got them all within 20 metres and, corridor side, or you can kick 2 goals, 12 if you're having all these shots right from the boundary line. So, it's what the opposition lets you. It comes down to skill, execution, and all that good stuff. But, after that initial sort of, 10, 15 minutes of where the Cats had on their terms, definitely got reasonable bang for buck on the scoreboard, but then, we weren't able to stop what the Giants were able to do. And, they were pretty formidable moving with the ball. It was very, very similar to games gone past where, we just allow Whitfield, Ash, and these guys just to run freely off halfback, Callahan. And, they were just, too skillful, too strong, too tough. Wanted it more than we did, especially, after things went against us. And I think when we've had momentum swings that have been pretty significant throughout season 2024, probably against the absolute best teams in the comp at the very least, if not minimal changes in momentum against sides that may not sit in sort of the top 8 or top 4 sort of section. So, look, there's definitely some flaws there. That's not perceived. That's reality. The Cats have got to go to work on that. Giants' pressure was excellent as well. Have to give credit there. So they forced us to rush kicks. Then they turned it over, run off halfback, go end to end, kick a goal. So I mean, it's not the end of the world if you can see an intercept mark. Although it's one of the things I hate the most. It absolutely drives me insane. Players taking uncontested intercept marks, especially off a slow play where players have plenty of time to go up and just compete. You don't have to be Wayne Carey up there, but don't let your opponent mark it. It's probably just about the one thing that just absolutely sends me with watching footy. But yeah, it's not the end of the world. But what is the end of the world is not being able to disrupt the ball movement when it does sort of happen from halfback. So yeah, they sliced through us like crazy, and we saw it. They would have gone to town on what Brisbane did, and I mean, they don't really need to refer to what Brisbane did. Their system stacks up really well against our system, irrespective of personnel. So yeah, clearly it was won and lost in the coach's box yet again. We were probably the biggest thing to raise as well was we were absolutely smashed out of the contest, especially out of centre bounce. And it drives me insane as well, always hearing that Giants are like in the bottom 4 for scores from clearance, and then they play us every year, and they play 10 out of 10 games every damn time, and it drives me absolutely mental. So that's not a perceived issue either. That's a real issue, that the centre bounce definitely just lacks that punch. And I think with Dangerfield up forward being starved of opportunities, when we were struggling, especially when they really got on top in that second term, I would have thought after 2 or 3 quick goals, they'd be like, all right, well, look, we don't really want to put Paddy in the midfield, but we just need to calm things down for a couple of minutes and just try and get some field position our way. And I felt like we were a bit too stubborn, didn't make the move, and probably, should have perhaps tried something, because then, Giants had their tails up, they were right back into it, and then we just looked like a shell of ourselves. It was like we swapped jumpers, was how it kind of looked, observing on. To our credit, we fought back a little bit, we stemmed the bleeding at times, but the Giants were just, they were deadly accurate yet again. Like 16-9 last time, 17-9 this time, so they're just crazy accurate. I mean, I'm sure they have decent, they wouldn't have too many difficult shots from their perspective. Ground ball was a real concern as well, and it's probably not the only time, especially in a loss, that, Giants are just front and square all the time. I feel like it's a basic fundamental that we don't really do very much of. So that's, like so many times we hit the ground and it's like, okay, it's probably going to go front and square. That's what we get taught under 10s, and I just don't, just always see the opposition front and square doing the absolute basics. So I don't know I don't know why we're missing out on a real basic there. I don't even know if it's 101. It feels like 100, to be honest. We couldn't handle the heat either. Conversely, we couldn't get as much heat across enough of a period of time to play it on our terms and force the Giants to turn it over. Did have some front half intercepts, but it was few and far between. And in between all of that, the Giants were able to give maximum damage on the scoreboard. They can break your heart in 5 minutes. They can kick 3 or 4 really quickly, and I mean we can as well. We did, but Giants did it on multiple occasions, and we didn't have the answers for it. Looked pretty limp down back at times. So that's kind of how the game panned out. We didn't really get too much respectability back into the scoreboard. We kind of kept it pretty much par from what it was at 3/4 time. And, at times it looked like the margin was going to get a bit scary, and thankfully we did fight back a little bit, all considering that the game was essentially out of reach once they got sort of a high 30-point margin up and going. So, it was a pretty rough watch, I must say. It was exciting first off. It was kind of like the Sydney game last year where, we were off like a house on fire at the SCG, and then all of a sudden, the Swans got on their terms, and then we just weren't able to match it with them, unfortunately. But going into the game, I mean, my expectations were, I tipped the Giants. I thought, well, they have a really good record against us. Their season's kind of on the line at their home ground. We've been playing okay without, setting the world on fire kind of thing. So, I just thought off all of those probabilities and mathematics, if you want to call it mathematics, that the Giants would win. So I don't know why we were favourites going into the game. If we're just going by later positions, that, as I said, there's 15% between 4th and 8th, not even wins and losses, and it's a very even season. So yeah. Anyway, over to the numbers. Let's have a look. So plus 24 with the ball, plus 4 inside 50s for the Cats, and that's probably something that we, even though we did have a bit of supply, it was pretty poor supply, and the Giants definitely, they concede a fair bit. They probably concede a lot of inside 50s, but they probably a lot of pressured inside 50s, so it'd be good if they could break down the stat of inside 50s, pressured versus unpressured, and I think you could get that number nailed down pretty quickly. Get a couple of metrics of what pressured and unpressured looks like. Yeah, it shouldn't be too hard. Anyway, that's a feature request for the AFL, so thank you. Disposal efficiency, pretty similar, although ours would have been chipping sideways and backwards and not getting anywhere far. And yeah, it brings me to another point. No run off half back, and there was so many times where we had chances to get that extra handball, and we just went for territory and bombed it in long and high, and just to a not really high percentage sort of plays. So that's where you have to look, and you have to give that handball, draw in that extra 10 metres, because you draw in that extra player. The player opens up over the top, out the back, rope-a-dope kind of style. So yeah, that was really disappointing. We made a lot of poor decisions, and our execution was pretty poor throughout the afternoon. Albeit, having said all that, 26-point margin, not the end of the world without us, playing probably 60, 70% close to our best throughout the course of the entire game. Free kick count, there was a lot of free kicks. We won the free kick count. That's something we won. Hit-outs in favour of the Cats. I don't think Briggsy got a hit-out in the first quarter, but then he turned into Polly Farmer after that. Clearances, we got bashed by 12 out of centre bounce, plus 7 to the Giants, plus 5 around the ground. Contested ball was pretty even. Giants got a bit more ball on the outside, but yeah, you can have a contested ball, but then if you saw some of the Giants' clearances, they were just like out the front, no pressure at all, bang, off and gone. Turnover game, more from the Giants, which surprises me. Maybe they must have had so many early that, it evened itself out later. They took a lot of marks. We allowed so many uncontested marks. We allowed a lot of space around the boundary, around the wings, where they just, players are either nowhere near them or giving them 5-10 metres space. And you can just prevent that by being a couple of metres closer, provide a bit more teasing distance. So we had our structure out of whack there as well. Marks inside 50, we surprisingly had more than the Giants. Must have got a lot of their goals from play. And contested marks our way there. Yeah, we led for a bit of the game, probably quarter of the game by the looks of it, and weren't able to maintain the rage. We did out-tackle the Giants. Makes sense, we got less of the ball, so you would like to think so. Tackles inside 50 didn't feel like that. It felt like there was a lot more pressure. But yeah, look at that. Just look at the run and carry that they had versus the run and carry we either didn't provide or just weren't able to execute. So yeah, that was disappointing. They're always pretty high up in the 1%, I would have thought, the Giants, so they led the charge there. All right, probably a speed run here because, didn't play that well. Votes are hard when you lose and don't play your best. He's right down the list here, but 3 votes are going to go to Shannon Neal. He had 5 goals next to his name. That's, fair bit of our score. From 6 kicks, he had the 5 goals, 4 marks, took a few contested marks, and that was after he had 4 free kicks against him in about 5 minutes, which they were just looking for free kicks against him, and a couple were genuine. I don't know if all of them were there, but they were pretty harsh on him. Yeah, it was good to see. His marking was really promising, and quite a prodigious kick. He was, dead-eye dick today. So, bright signs, even though, Cameron was down and out, injured, playing, but wasn't able to sort of get involved. So, it was a really good game for Neil, away from home, against really good opposition. So I'll give him the 3 votes. Pretty rare that a key forward gets the 3 votes. That's not Jeremy Cameron. 2 votes, Graham Myers. Incredibly stiff not to get a vote last week. He was amazing last week against the Tigers. He kicked a goal this week against the Giants. 22 free marks, 3 tackles. Had a clearance as well, a couple of goal assists. So, yeah, he was slicing and dicing early. Really, really promising. And is a fine player for us. 1 vote. I'll go Tommy Stewart for the vote. 29, 9 marks, tackle clearance, almost 700 metres gained. So, yeah, after being a bit sore, I thought it was a pretty decent effort, all considering. Especially early, he was quite, all over it with the ball. But, yeah, it's hard to give a defender votes when they got 100 points kicked on them. But not all down to him. Smith was all right, 26, 6 tackles, 4 marks, couple of clearances, 500 metres gained. Just wasn't able to, got a bit of the ball, but a lot of it was half back and backwards, sideways. Wasn't able to, get too much going for us, unfortunately, and he wasn't alone there either. Blitzarv's got a lot of the ball, must have played decent time in midfield, 22, 6 marks, bit of ruck work, 5 clearances. So, statistically a pretty good game from Blitz, and he was a good option down the line for us. Ollie Dempsey kicked a goal, had the 18 disposals, 6 marks as well, 3 tackles, had a clearance in there too. Relatively quiet, especially after quarter time, but had a decent crack. Max Holmes kicked a nice goal from 55. That was about it. 17 disposals for him, 5 marks, 3 tackles, a couple of clearances, and goal assist. So, I assume he was tagged by Bedford. Bedford was in, so Holmes tore them up last time, and the Giants learned from their lesson last time. I don't know if we did, but anyway, they it was 65 disposals last time between Holmes and Smith. So it was Holmes and Smith. But if you look at the clearance numbers, centre bounce, they're just not getting it done, which is really disappointing. Tommy Atkins had the 18 disposals, 6 tackles, 3 marks, 7 clearances, 3 goal assists. So, he did his done. It's probably, top 3, top 4, best on ground for Geelong. Jack Martin was quiet, got a bit of the ball though at halfback, 8 marks, had his 14 touches as well, couple of tackles. Didn't use it perfectly at times, under pressure at times as well. Zach Guthrie had the 17, 3 marks, 4 tackles. Had Jake Stringer at times, had Toby Green at times. It's a pretty formidable forward line when you look at it. You got Hogan, Green, Cadman, Riccardi, Stringer. I don't think I've forgotten anyone, but that's pretty hard yakka. That's without probably one of their best. I'm trying to think of his name. He's a small version of David King. So Brent Daniels, yes, he's always injured, but also one of their finest players. Brad Close was relatively productive in that first half. Kicked a goal, 14 disposals, had the 4 marks, 4 tackles, set up one as well. Chases hard, as always, just wasn't able to, again, he's the beneficiary of how well the midfield goes, but still statistically did okay. Manor was pretty decent early in the game. Kicked a goal, 15 touches for him, a couple of marks, 3 tackles, 3 clearances, and goal assist, also 500 metres gained. So I thought his game was relatively productive. Sully had a tough day, even though he had a bit of the ball there. 18 possessions for him, 7 marks. But maybe it was the clearance dominance the Giants did have. And he's very early in his career and he's going to be a star. But he's clearly not a number 1, 2 sort of key post at this stage of his career. And, the Giants at their home deck, pretty tough yakka for him. So he's a great intercept mark. More so than a lockdown defender, but if he's going to take time, he's not going to be Matthew Scarlett in season 1. O'Shea Mullen had the 12 touches, 5 marks, 3 tackles, 3 clearances. Used the ball okay, a couple of long blasts, but I don't know if he was tagging Callaghan, but hopefully kept him reasonable. Humphreys had the 13 touches, 4 marks, couple of tackles. A little bit of run and dash, some good intercepts. But it wasn't sort of at his best that we know that he can sort of be. Henry had a tough day at the office, 14 disposals, 4 marks. Maybe, actually, I think he was playing on Hogan, so Hogan only kicked 2, I hope. So the defence had a tough day. The office, him specifically, not so. Hogan kicked 1 goal too. So my apologies there. Great work from Henry. I assume Henry was on Hogan for most of the game. I don't really look at who's on who. I'll just look at how the game's being played, and I don't really focus on individuals so much unless they're absolutely tearing us apart. I'm just going to get the fantasy points sorted out. So, great work, Jack Henry, keeping Jesse Hogan to 1 goal. Hopefully that assessment was correct. Jackie B kicked a goal, had the 12 touches, a couple of marks, tackle, clearance, but again, just not getting enough. If he was in the centre bounce or at halfback, either way, just wasn't able to impact very much for us. Reece didn't have too much of the ball, 6 touches, 19 hit-outs, a couple of clearances, set up a couple of goals, which was nice from Reece, including one to Jack Bowes, funnily enough. But Briggsy, I think, definitely more athletic as the game went on. Dangerfield kicked 3 behinds, 7 touches, a couple of marks, 2 tackles. Clearance, set up a goal, largely ineffective. As I mentioned earlier, we know he's not going to be full-time midfield. We know he's never ever going to be full-time midfield ever again. That's fine, but you just have to make the call and be brave and go, all right, we need to send the flow. We need to just get a clearance or 2 back, or just 50-50 a contest, because we were getting absolutely brained in the centre bounce and no one had an answer, and it was really, really frustrating that we didn't make the call to just, it's okay to take him out. You don't have to be caring about what the world thinks or the media thinks. Like, oh no, Dangerfield's in the middle, they must be in trouble. Like, it's just, we don't care about the perception of it. We care about winning the game and what it takes to win the game. And yes, we don't need the 1,000% reliance on him to be the man all the time. But sometimes you just have to bring in some leadership and just solve the problem rather than just being too proud. Cameron kicked 1 goal too. He was sore with a groin issue, a couple of marks, couple of tackles, clearance as well. But he was well below his best, and I don't think a groin injury would definitely not help. O'Connor was all right, probably one of his poorer games of the season. Had the 9 touches, 3 tackles, was pinged holding the ball a few times. Lost a few contests in the air, so it was a tough game for him. George Stevens had a shot at goal, missed it, 7 touches for his 39% game time. Subbed out, unfortunately, and I got a bit overboard against the Tigers. I thought I was going to see a bit more of that from George, but hopefully it doesn't get dropped forever. But again, I think it was a pretty tough initiation into his second game, but just was not able to break out of the contest and then, punching the ball, which is kind of what he's in the side for. Ollie Henry ended up with a goal, 1 around the corner, 4 touches. Probably should just either be in the team or not be in the team. He's not really a sub option. Sub's got to be like lots of run and dash and carry, or someone that can be flexible rather than a forward pocket. That's my opinion. All right, so in terms of the ladder, we'll go to that first before we look at next week. So currently we are sitting in the top 4, basically hanging on. The Gold Coast Suns still have a game in hand, so that could pose a very interesting threat for teams moving forward after their win over the Pies on Friday night. So, look, I think in terms of Geelong's run, Giants is probably the hardest game. Sydney in the SCG, I don't suspect it would win if I were to assume current form on the Swans and current form of us. A bit can change between now and then, but I don't suspect we'd win that. I would think we would win most of our other games, maybe drop 1 or 2 here and there, and potentially go in with, what would it be, 16-8 if there's 24 games of footy, or 15-8 if there's 23. How many rounds have we got? 24 rounds and a bye. So, I would think we'd be 15-8 or 16-7 more than likely if I'm projecting ahead, and Geelong get back to some better form. But if we have a look at next week, we've got the Saints at GMHBA at 110 Sunday arvo, and yeah, look, they've been a tough team to beat as well. They're always really, really honest, and I swear Ross just has one thing in his mind each year, and that's just to beat Chris, in a game of footy. And they play 10 out of 10 against us. They have to give maximum effort, and then they lose to West Coast or Richmond or a team the week after. So they always do that. So we should expect their best. I think it even goes back to 2021. Outside of the 2022 where we won the flag, it was Saints kicked like the first 5 goals, and we took us the whole game to get back, and I think it was a 3-goal win in the end. But yeah, it was quite stressful, that one. No Tom Stewart. But in general, yeah, they've given us a real headache, and we can't beat them in Marvel, so we can't beat the Giants, we can't beat the Saints in Marvel. We did win at home in Joel Selwood stand first game, so yeah, that was pretty close. And to be fair, we kept the Saints to, I think, 6 goals for 3.5 quarters, and they kicked 3 in 5 minutes. So yeah, I would expect us to win. I'd expect us to bounce back and win, probably between that 3 to 5 goal mark, so probably that 4 goals. But yeah, just want to be playing some good footy, and the result will take care of itself. But yeah, the Saints will give us a really good litmus test, no doubt about that. So unfortunately, yeah, for Cats fans out there, no dice this week. Not the end of the world. I'm not going to throw all the toys out of the pram, but also realising that our best footy is pretty good. Also realising that you want to definitely be playing your best footy from August onwards. I think that'll definitely put us in good stead. So, but also acknowledging that there are some definite flaws in there that need to be addressed, either via personnel or by the coaching staff. It's particularly with that half-back transition game that we just can't cope with at the moment. So there's some work to do there, no doubt. Hopefully, get some troops back, and Stengel out hurt, definitely. De Koning's been out for a bit. Stengel's a real fire starter up forward, but some work to do. Hopefully we can address it and get back on the winners list next week. That's all you can do. All right, thanks for tuning in, guys. I hope you enjoyed. Interested to hear your thoughts on the game down in the comments below. So let me know how you saw the game this week and how you're sort of seeing the Cats' aspirations for season 2025. Give the video a like if you enjoyed it, and don't forget to subscribe so you can see how the Cats are tracking each and every week. I break down the full game, break down the analysis of how we performed, the statistical side of the game, as well as how the players went individually, and a bit of a look at next week. So thanks for tuning in. Appreciate it. Have a good one, and I'll catch you on the next video.